Good morning everyone and welcome back to a new episode of the Daily Gaming News here on the new Byte. Yesterday we didn't have a show because I was busy, and instead I released an impressions video of The Division 2, so if you haven't seen that, check that out on the channel as well, and let's just jump right into it. Vivendi has now finally sold off its final Ubisoft shares. Why is that important? Well, in March of last year there were actually rumors around that Vivendi might be in need actually to take over Ubisoft. The company was actually coming closer to the 30% mark of ownership in stocks, and by French law, actually, that would require them to take over Ubisoft in an attempt. How that would change the company overall with Ubisoft, that is of course unknown, but the idea usually is that it won't be that positive for Ubisoft and their games, of course. But also with these news back in the day, we have the reports that Vivendi actually wanted to revert that process and want to sell off all its shares. And now we've finally seen that the final 5.9% stake in Ubisoft was sold for $429 million. So safe to say that Ubisoft stays, well, still Ubisoft in the end then. Then in other news, we have reports from Windows Central that Microsoft will actually release an Xbox One S version without a disk drive, and it will be called the All Digital Edition, which reportedly will be released in May. There's not much else known about it other than apparently that the price should be below the $200 point. And again, Windows Central has heard from its own sources that the new console set to pack in the identical internals to the Xbox One S, minus the disk drive. So yeah, I guess the future is finally starting and coming around, and we'll see actually one of the two rumored Xbox Ones to be out very soon, if that is true. So far nothing official has been announced, of course, because, well, reports are reports, and official announcements usually go along with a marketing strategy, so we'll probably hear more about that around April, I'd say. But definitely this is already interesting to think about. Would you have a console without any disk drive and only go digital with it? Let me know in the comments down below. And apparently with Anthem we have a new issue because PlayStation 4 players complain that the game is crashing constantly and also sometimes bricking the console in a way that you have to actually unplug the power and plug back in to hopefully make the PlayStation work again just because of Anthem. And if this isn't concerning to you, this is, I don't know, like, we can still say, okay, how much development time did they have with this game? 6 years apparently. And then they have issues that big? And in more stunning news actually, we saw yesterday a report coming up around Masahiro Sakurai, the creator and director of Super Smash Bros. And the latest release, of course, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. In an interview with Nintendo Dream, he says, "I made some changes from what I used to do compared to now. For example, as a principal, I always left the office by 10 p.m. no matter what. Many companies are discouraging extreme overtime these days too," he said, referencing the recent furore over crunch time in the industry, following an interview with Rockstar's Dan Houser in the studio's 1 hour weeks. Apparently he has struggled with his health. Back in 2013, he was suffering from calcific tendonitis and ruptured muscle tissues, and it continued to cause problems for him over the years later. It also continues on that he says, in the development phase of Ultimate, Sakurai revealed that he had suffered from stomach problems, but rather taking time off, he went into the office attached to an IV drip. And this is just insane dedication. I really can't say this is good. Like, please, people out there, don't take this as an example that overworking yourself and, well, damaging yourself in long term is actually good for you. But of course, all the more for what Sakurai did, I can respect Smash Bros. Ultimate even more now. And in another dev's life, Jason Rural, we have actually an issue which is quite interesting. The game 1 Hour 1 Live is basically the principle, as you can see here, where you're walking around and are bored, and you have a multiplayer game actually where other players in the same map have to take care of you first. This is literally adopting new players that come into the game until they are old enough to have their own agenda and being able to do their own things. The idea is to simulate a civilization which will build up itself slowly over time. Now this game has been added to the public domain, and of course that means other people could also take the game and port it to any other platform if they want to. There's now the developer Dual Decade, which made a mobile version of that game, which is also premium tag because they have to pay like €5 for it, and that game apparently has some problems. And because there's no way to tell if this mobile version of the game is actually official from Rora or if it's just from another developer, people are actually, of course, complaining to the original developer. And after some back and forth with legal disputes and claims, of course, it actually came around that it's not worth it. Jason Morrow had to give it up, basically, and say, okay, people are still thinking this mobile version is based on his work, which, of course, it is, but it's not actually his own work. He was not part of this mobile port. And the issues that come around will always link to his work because he decided to make the game the public domain. As Jason Morrow says himself, this has been going on for more than 4 days and I have more pressing matters to attend to. Family, GDC talk, more 1 hour 1 life updates. So at this point, I guess I give up, Rora said. I've withdrawn my dispute submissions from Apple, Google and TapTap. Of course, the full article is linked down below. Check it out yourself. It's really interesting to see how some decisions in your business make a huge impact on the future. And yeah, also Steam has its own issue because actually it says that, I can't believe this, guys. So Steam has a full-on hands-off policy where they say we don't monitor or stop any game to be sold through our shop as long as it's not against the American law. And now there's a visual novel glorifying sexual assault. I'm in pure disbelief of humanity. And I can't believe that this is happening. Apparently, the creator of the game says, which is a game, admittedly, for sociopaths. The developer says it themselves. It's ready for launch, they say, but the review process is taking longer than expected. I can't believe that this game exists, and I can't believe that people want to release this. What is wrong with the world? What's actually good in the world is at least that Turok is making a comeback to the Nintendo Switch, and that will happen on March 18th. It's basically straight out the port from the Nintendo 64 version from the 1990s, and also the description of the game is just like that on the Nintendo store. The final point is especially cool. Razor-tooth raptors, artillery-packing triceratops, alien infantry, and a laser-guided T-Rex, following your every move with head-tracking technology. Nonetheless, it's cool to see this old game coming back, especially on the Nintendo Switch where you can play it mobile. And as a last bit of news, we have actually a new follow-up game, not by Bennett Foddy, but getting over with, sort of goes in the same direction as Ghost Simulator and I Am Bread. And now there's a new game in that category, which is called Pogostuck, and actually it's making streamers crazy in rage and hate. So if you want to look up some videos or streams, look at Pogostuck, might be funny to look at that. And that's it again for the daily gaming news here at the new Byte. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. Give it a thumbs up if you want to support us. And of course, let us know in the comments down below what you think about the individual stories. Of course, everything is linked in the video description down below. And please follow us everywhere here, of course, or on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're literally everywhere. I think most places, not Pinterest. I'm interested in Pinterest, but anyway. My name is Austin. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.